Hello everybody, welcome back to this week's Ace of Navigation. My name is Myah Olstad, and this week, well, first of all, Merry Christmas. We've officially entered the Christmas season, December 1st, and normally people like to talk about the birth of Jesus, Mary and Joseph, good traditional topics for this time of year. And I did want to talk about mothers and the act of being a mother, but not through Mary. I know is a little controversial for this time of year, but bear with me. So the message that I wanted to talk about is actually the story of Ruth, but through the lens of her mother-in-law, Naomi. So the verses we're going to be looking at today is first, it's going to be Ruth chapter 1, verses 6 through 13 to start off with. I'm reading from the ESV. Then she rose with her daughters-in-law to return from the country of Moab. She had heard in the fields of Moab that the Lord had visited his people and given them food. So she set out from the place where she was with her two daughter-in-laws, and they went on their way to return to the land of Judah. But Naomi said to her two daughters-in-law, "Go, return each of you to your mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with the dead and with me. The Lord grant that you may find rest, each of you, in the house of her husband." And she kissed them, and they lifted up their voices and wept. And they said to her, "No, we will return with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Turn back, my daughters. Why will you return with me? Have I yet sons in my womb that they may become your husbands? Turn back, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. If I should say I have hope, even if I should have a husband this night and should bear sons, would you therefore wait till they were grown? Would you therefore refrain from marrying? No, my daughters, for it is exceedingly bitter to me for your sake that the hand of the Lord has gone out against me." So, for those of you who don't know the story of Naomi, Ruth, and her other daughter-in-law, Oprah, it's a tale of tragedy and woe, but also a story of love. So Naomi, she had a husband, she had two sons. They grown up, they got married. Ruth and Oprah come into the picture. Now, they were originally Jewish Israelites from the land of Judah. There was a famine, which made them go to this other country. So after, obviously, Naomi's husband is gone, her sons are dead, so these women are now in a country where Naomi feels like an outsider. Now, this is where I wanted to focus on the mother aspect. Ruth and Oprah both obviously wanted to stay with her. They wanted to take care of her, even if they would then turn into outsiders, returning to the land of Judah where Naomi was from, where she has other family and other friends who could take care of her. They wanted to join her, even though they would be in a foreign land, in a foreign country. But Naomi was rejecting them almost, telling them, "No, it's far better for you to not come with me and to stay here and get your own husbands." Because back then it was tradition where women couldn't live by themselves. They couldn't keep their own house, keep their own income, take care of themselves. They had to have a man to protect them, but also to make money and to pay taxes. So, but this obviously is in stark contrast to the Naomi we read about later in the book. Now, Ruth is a very short book of the Bible, only 4 chapters long, but in chapter 3, which is the next section we're going to be going into, Ruth chapter 3, verse 1, but also 16 through 18. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, "My daughter, should I not seek rest for you that it may be well with you?" Now, we already see almost a completely different Naomi. Now, this Naomi that was in the beginning of the book, she hadn't fully connected with the idea that these were her daughters, her blood. She was still a mother-in-law, so she still cared for them, but she didn't have that final connection where she felt obligated to take care of them. Hence, she wanted them to go stay in their home country and be taken care of by their own people. Whereas we see in Ruth, later on in chapter 1, where she says, "Your people will be my people. Where you stay, I will stay. Where you go, I will go." Ruth had fully accepted Naomi as her mother, her blood, through her husband, that she would be with her and take care of her. Even after Naomi rejected her time and time again, telling her to stay, Oprah, there's nothing against her. Oprah listened to Naomi. And this is the same way when we push our parents away, or we push the mentors or the leaders we see in our lives that are trying to teach us and mentor us, but either they push us away for reasons or we push them away. But then we see that that doesn't have to be the case. We could be like Naomi, which at the end of the book, through this basically demonstration that Ruth gives to Naomi as she goes with her back to her hometown, and she takes care of her, she goes out in the field, she gets food, and then she finds others and meets with other of Naomi's friends, family, and she's becoming more a part of her life, and Naomi is seeing the sacrifice that Ruth is making for her. This allows Ruth to grow as a mother and accept Ruth as her daughter, which is basically the message. Not only for going into this Christmas season, but also that we should generally try to do. We should try to connect with other members of the body of Christ in the way that Ruth does with Naomi, and causes Naomi to become the mother that she was destined to be, and help Ruth to meet Boaz, gain a new husband, and also gain more family. And we should try to do that. Get more friends, get more family, but also make those sacrifices and show that no matter who somebody is, where they come from, we are connected through Christ. He makes us blood, he makes us family, and that only draws us more together. And what better time to acknowledge that than during Christmas, where Jesus first came. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you for listening, and be sure to check out other 8 Snap, not just this one. Cut this part out. Love the bloopers. Okay.